Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Today we're gonna react to a movie recap called Silent Sea. I don't know shit about this movie and I'm super excited to watch this. But before we start this, I'm also streaming on Twitch. The same name, Anime Otaku Master. Go follow me there for more amazing content. We're just chatting, having fun, talking about life, death, anything and everything. So without further ado, let's react to this movie recap. In 2075, humans find a way to produce water from lungs as Earth has no water left. Sounds like a fucked up thing. Let's see if it's actually fucked up.
The movie is set in the year 2070. Many renowned scientists of the world are distressed because of the risk of a worldwide drought due to water scarcity. To prepare for such a situation beforehand, a group of researchers are sent to the Balhae research station on the moon.
Is this possible that we run out of water
fish inside a tank
in real life?
Expose it to a few drops of mysterious liquid similar to water. Initially, it causes the fish to suffocate, but then the molecules multiply, forming more water and eventually filling up the tank. In short, the fish managed to create a survivable environment on its own, thanks to the mysterious.
That's pretty cool.
Although the first experiment was a success, something mysterious causes the station to close soon after, and the base is forgotten. 5 years later, in 2075, the forecast comes true.
It's Korean.
The world is hit with a critical worldwide water shortage. It has resulted in an all-time infant mortality.
No, so cute. No, don't die.
Due to various infections and diseases caused by the
holy shit. I wonder if there's some place like this in the real world, like this much trash. Probably somewhere, right?
Water. Government and private organizations in South Korea are vigorously investing in mega vertical farms in hopes of reducing water usage. Moreover, the government has divided the public into separate groups, and each group gets different quality and quantities of water.
This is so, dude, this can actually happen. Like governments can do this shit. Like they're already doing this in some kind of way in China. Like the social credit score, like they're like dividing people on how like good you're doing, how bad you're doing. I know this is not the same thing, but they're kind of already doing some sort of the same thing.
Importance to human survival. Expectedly, the scheme isn't popular with most of the general public, as they are now deprived of clean water. Then, we are introduced to a Korean space agency named SAA. The agency
sounds like a K-pop band
planning to send a crew to the Balhae Lunar Research Station. It is the same abandoned research facility on the moon where the fish experiment was conducted. It hides many government secrets, some of which might even solve the water problems on Earth. The crew consists of 9 members, all led by Captain Han.
Ooh, he's a famous actor. I've seen him before.
The mission is especially dangerous because in the last research, 117 crew members died in the base.
Holy fuck.
The deaths were caused due to a radiation leak, but Dr. Song doesn't want to believe it. For the mission, Choi has...
Let me guess, it's an inside job.
Roped in Dr. Song, an astrobiologist.
Ooh, that's a big boy.
Down the mission, but later changed her mind for the sake of finding out the truth about her late sister, who also lost her life.
Oh, I see.
As a reward, Dr. Song is given a lifetime gold membership, which gives her unlimited access to safe and clean drinking water.
She's trying to bribe her.
Director Choi briefs the crew about the mission. It turns out that they have to retrieve at least 1 capsule of a research sample from the station on the moon. However, the information on what the samples consist of is supposedly lost and unknown. All they know is that the samples must be kept at a regulated low temperature range. Dr. Song suspects that the SAA is purposely withholding information about the parcel's content.
She's right.
But still decides to go on the mission.
Go there.
On the day of the takeoff, the main pilot is replaced by a pilot named Jisoo. The crew isn't happy with the last minute.
Ah, they're already doing it. They're already doing it. They work with aliens or some shit like that.
Change, but Captain Han orders everyone to stick it out. The spacecraft takes off and safely enters the Earth and later the Moon's orbit. However, during the landing, it malfunctions and they crash on the Moon's surface, 7.6 kilometers northwest of their destination. The mission's spacecraft falls off a cliff and the surviving crew is forced to travel to the station by foot.
I always wondered about this. If you crash on the moon, how the fuck do you repair their spaceship? Like, do they always have like a guy that can repair shit like that, like engineer?
A former researcher at the Ballay station named Huang has sustained serious injury. Halfway
Oh no.
through the journey, he stops and is unable to continue. Since
Kill
he's
him.
been to the station before for research, he seems to know something that the others don't.
No, he's
He tries to
bleeding.
convey a message to the crew, but ends up passing away.
No.
A serious blow to the crew's morale. Nevertheless,
Fuck.
they continue their journey and almost run out of oxygen. When they reach their destination at Ballay Station, they desperately fill up the tanks and manage to survive.
Yeah.
The series then flashes back to the past. And
This
Dr. Song
this reminds me of Among Us for some reason. You're like an airship or at a place and like somebody's trying to fuck with you and there's like a guy that is there's a killer. Who's sus?
scene trying to find out the truth about her sister's death. She opens an encrypted file from her sister's workstation, trying to find out what she was working on at the lunar station. She eventually cracks the code,
Oh.
and a message pops up on the screen.
Cracked.
That reads, "Find Luna." Back to the present, the crew comes across an old corpse that has physical signs similar to that of drowning. They are confused because there couldn't possibly be enough water on the moon for a person to drown and die. The crew is not able to identify the dead body from their database and are puzzled to see an automatic weapon in the corpse's possession, suggesting that he was a
They drowned his body out of liquid. I have no idea. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking
All
about.
the systems of the station are
It's a
functional.
newer
The
movie
station
though.
lacks the dangerous
It's not the old
radiation
movie.
that had allegedly wiped out the staff 5 years prior. Dr. Song's belief that SAA is keeping them in the dark becomes stronger, and she suggests performing an autopsy of the corpse.
Smart
The captain
girl.
orders everyone to stick to the plan and look for the command center instead. They eventually locate the center and bring the massive facility back to life. However, the communication
Oh, looks
system
cool.
is down, and the crew isn't able to contact mission
Oh.
control. The radiation levels in the control room seem normal, unlike what the mission control had told them. Dr. Song boldly takes off her life support to
Oh,
prove that
big
they're not
Chad.
surrounded by high levels of radiation, and then everyone follows her lead. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
But why would you even do that? Like, there's no point of doing that. Like, there's like a big chance there are already like, there's no reason to do that, but okay.
Inspection of the station, but Han reminds her that it's not their job to investigate the cause of the Ballhai accident. They are here to retrieve the samples, which is
True.
their first and only priority. There
Kinda
are
true.
3 storages in the facility where the sample could possibly be found, so the crew splits up into teams and searches the station for.
It is like Among
A crew
Us.
member named Dr. Hong, a soldier, E2, and the captain head for Storage 1. Tai-suk, Sun, Su-chan, and E1 are sent to Storage 2. Meanwhile, Chief Gong, Dr. Song, and Jisoo go to Storage 3.
Okay.
Dr. Song tells the crew that as soon as they locate the capsule, they must check the thermoregulator to make sure that it's at an extremely low temperature. On the way
Why?
to Storage 3, Jisoo reveals that Captain Han returned back from retirement on this mission for a special purpose. He wants to get his sick daughter access to a higher class of water. It
Oh,
turns
makes
out that
sense.
After the Great Drought, 1 in every 10 children passes away.
No,
Meanwhile,
that's so
Jisoo
sad.
comes across a jammed gate. When they force open the door, they come across a number of corpses, frightening the team.
Holy
A quick
shit.
assessment of the situation shows that the victims were desperately trying to escape, and the area was shut down in an emergency right after the accident. The situation is contrary
That's
to
bad.
the government report, which stated that the victims died way before the shutdown.
Ooh.
Dr. Song observes the bodies remotely from her wrist computer and comments on their characteristics of drowned bodies. She insists on
Yep.
checking the infirmary to access their medical records, and Han rudely turns her down, telling
I wonder why they drowned. I know we will find out, but this is a very good start of a movie. Like, it has such a good build up.
her to take her mind off of her personal curiosity. The first and second group eventually reach their respective destinations, but the visible capsules are empty or missing, and the storage units look as if someone already raided the place for the samples. In the meantime, Team 3 detects a foreign presence moving around
Oh,
the station.
holy
The head of
shit.
Security, Gong,
It
goes
is exactly like Among Us.
Jisoo tells Dr. Song that he knows about her late sister and empathizes with her.
No.
He also reveals that if she wishes to check the infirmary to get to the bottom of the truth, he would cover for her. After a brief pause, Dr.
Oh,
Song decides to
that's
follow the
sus.
opportunity.
That's
Somewhere
sus.
else, crew member Su Chan of Team 2 sees a corpse with a capsule in his hands.
Oh.
He touches the corpse, which, upon upon contact, releases minuscule particle droplets that
Oh.
enter Su-chan's eyes.
Oh.
After Dr. Song leaves for the infirmary, Jisoo enters Storage 3 on his own and looks around for samples. In the process, he drops his flashlight. When he tries to fetch it, some invisible force seemingly pulls it away, frightening the hell out of him. He collects himself and brushes it aside as a hallucination. Back to Team 2. After failing to locate a viable
The fuck is
capsule,
going
they
on?
head back to the command center. Han, on the other hand, monitors Dr. Song's movements from his watch and orders her to rejoin Jisoo immediately. Inside Storage 3, Jisoo notices a viable capsule near the flashlight and manages to retrieve it. The
Nice.
capsule appears to be filled with water. When Dr. Song returns to Storage 3, she notices some unknown entity attacking Jisoo,
Holy
lifting him up in the air by his neck before dropping him to his death. Dr. Song also notices the entity taking the capsule away before
There's like aliens plotting with the humans. I can see that
disappearing. Soon,
happening.
others arrive and learn of the incident. As expected, they find it hard to believe Dr. Song's account, but a quick analysis of Jisoo's body reveals a fractured skull, ankle, and arm, which couldn't have possibly resulted from a fall. Han orders everyone to return to the command center before going through Dr. Song's body camera with Gong. It turns out the intruder escaped through the ventilation system. Since the intruder realized the value of the sample and hence took it away, Song theorizes that the intruder is a human. Back at the command center, team member Tai-suk tries to establish contact with Mission Control, and after failing to succeed, he hypothesizes that there might be a problem with the radio tower outside. Suddenly, Su-chan starts shaking violently and expels unnatural amounts of water.
The
Dr.
fuck?
Hong orders everyone to step back and put on their hazmat
Oh, that's the thing, that you can create a lot of water by yourself.
suits. Han, Gong, and Song also learn about the situation and rush back to the command center. Dr. Hong tries her best to save Su-chan, but he eventually dies from drowning symptoms, much like the corpses littering the station.
So basically, they have this thing where they get in the eyes, like he got poisoned by that corpse, and he produces a lot of water. So all of those people got fucked because that virus or whatever it is like drowns people to make rich people have water, basically.
Dr. Hong tells Han that they must quarantine Su-chan's body until they determine the exact cause of death. She proposes moving him to the main lab infirmary and performing an autopsy right away. Chief Gong is shaken by his brother's death, and Han attempts to comfort him. Han also finally gives Song permission to go through the medical records of the Balhae crew who lost their lives in the accident. The crew also learns that the entity that killed Jisoo can access areas that are not in the station's blueprints. Han decides to search the ventilation shaft with Gong and
Literally Among Us.
E2, while team members Tai-suk
He
and
vented.
Sun are ordered to establish contact with Mission Control. Sun is severely demoralized by the recent events, and Tai-suk tries to cheer him up while trying to establish communication with Mission Control. Dr. Hong performs an autopsy of Su-chan's body, while Song and another soldier named E1 unsuccessfully try to access the encrypted medical records of the crew, who lost their lives in the accident 5 years ago. Song decides to secure tissue samples from other bodies and trace them back to when Su-chan's...
Oh, she's gonna die too.
Meanwhile, Han, Gong, and E2 enter the ventilation system to look for the entity and come across drawings seemingly made by it. Soon, they notice a biosignal approaching them from the front and wait to come face to face with the
Holy
entity.
shit.
However, it passes them by. As Song collects
It's
tissue
above them.
samples from the dead bodies, E1 wonders if he also got infected since he came in contact with Su-chan. Suddenly, Dr. Hong calls Song back to the infirmary, and the latter asks E1 to take care of the samples for her before heading back. On her way, she suddenly stops before the data storage chamber of the station. After a brief pause, she rejoins E1 to collect more samples. Afterward, they return back to the infirmary, and Dr. Hong reveals that Su-chan drowned to death, and the water rose up from the inside. Song goes through the samples collected from other bodies, but fails to locate anything unusual. Han and the others continue to follow the entity's biosignal, which leads them to a gate that requires level 1 access.
I wonder what this enemy is.
Han and his team return to the command center. There, Tai-suk informs him that there's a problem with the digital unit connected to the communications tower, and someone needs to go outside to switch the equipment, while another edits the protocol inside and reboots the system. Without blinking, Han volunteers to do the job. Back at the infirmary, Dr. Han shows Song Su-chan's blood sample, which contains an unknown substance. Soon, Han arrives and informs them about the latest development. Before he leaves, Song privately talks to him and expresses amazement at the intruder.
I wonder who is the intruder. Who is the sus person? There's like some of them among them, but who is it? I feel like it's a good-looking guy.
Even when she got really close to it, maybe the intruder is a simp. Moreover, since it moved...
A what?
Maybe the intruder is a simp. Moreover, since it
Did he just call the intruder a simp?
moves by using shafts, and
What?
it always manages to escape because it's a step ahead. It seems like the entity is familiar with the internal...
But indeed
structure
is a
of the
simp.
facility. Song strongly believes that the entity could be a human survivor from 5 years ago. Even though Han finds it hard to believe, Song tells him that if the government could be wrong about the radiation levels, it could very well be mistaken about survivors too.
But how the fuck did the survivor... Did you see how he lifted... It looks like a ghost that lifted somebody up and killed him. Like, how can that be another survivor? Like, he or she is invisible.
Han retorts that if it really was a survivor, it wouldn't have stolen the sample and attacked them. As Han heads out to
Smart.
repair the communication system, the movie flashes back to the past. Han is seen walking to the National Medical Center. His daughter is admitted to the hospital, and the doctor tells him that he needs a higher water classification to stop her condition from worsening. If her condition worsens, she could lose her legs.
You know what's the worst thing? Their situation in this world where people need help and doctors take money from them to help children instead of just doing it voluntarily. I'm from Serbia originally, and like there's a lot of times you need to give doctors and people money under the table for them to do certain things for you to survive, even children. And that's fucked up. Like, what happened to the human heart?
Forever. Back in the present, Song and Hong analyze the water in Su-chan's blood. It has the solubility and surface tension of water, but different mass and density. Also, it doesn't contain any microorganisms, and hence is similar to distilled water. Meanwhile, Han climbs down the station using a safety harness to fix the communication system. However, out of nowhere, the defunct platform elevator below him becomes operational and shoots above, knocking
What
the
the fuck?
safety harness out. Han narrowly saves his life and holds onto a wall until the crew above drops another rope. Unfortunately, the elevator again free falls from the top, and the crew is forced to drop the rope. Han manages to anchor his rope on the wall before jumping out of the elevator's way.
Smart.
In the process, he damages his life support system. He rapidly loses his oxygen, but insists on returning only after fixing
You
the
can do it.
communication system.
Come on, you can do
Eventually
it.
brings the system back up, but before he can return, he collapses to the ground. Back
Come
at the
on, save
infirmary,
it.
Song points out that the water in Su-chan's body stopped increasing in quantity after his death.
Dude, there's a guy that is unconscious in front of you. Like, fuck investigating. Just save the motherfucker, dude.
Since it multiplies rapidly once the host is infected, and stops its activity when the host dies, water could be a virus. Meanwhile, when Han opens his eyes, he finds himself inside the station. It turns
good,
out
they saved
Dr.
him.
E2 brought him back. After
Good-
he lost
good boys,
consciousness
good
due to
boys.
lack of oxygen, they return to the command center, and to their dismay, they learn that there's no exchange of signals from mission control, despite the system not showing any malfunction. Suddenly, the computer detects an unknown signal coming in from outside and being sent to the Storage 3 area. Han and the others immediately rush there and investigate Jisoo's body. Upon searching his corpse, they discover a mobile device with which he had been maintaining periodic contact with an outside organization. It turns out that he was secretly acting as an agent for RX, a rival space research organization that also wants the samples.
Okay,
Finally
dude.
manages to establish contact with Earth using the device, and Director Choi expresses regret over the death of 3 crew members, including the spy, and Han reminds her that she approved the co-pilot to be changed at the last minute. He also tells Choi about the survivor and the lack of radiation levels in the station. The lack of reaction from her makes Han suspect that Choi hasn't been completely honest with him. He warns her that if she's been keeping information from him, the success of this operation will no longer be his interest. Choi assures him that she has no reason to hide anything from him, and that the rescue ships will be sent after they retrieve the samples. As Han and others prepare to look for the intruder, Song and her team return back to the command center. Song asks Han if he knew that the sample they were sent to retrieve was water. Han's guilty silence answers the question, and a flashback shows him being briefed about the water that Song's sister discovered on the moon. Han finally breaks the news that it was that water which killed everyone at the Balhae station.
Yep, the water is poison.
The lunar water multiplies endlessly, which makes it seem like an amazing resource. If one could control its multiplication and commercialize it, they have the potential of saving mankind. It's also revealed that the lunar water springs into action after coming in contact with a living organism. Song feels angry that the scientists at Balhae died due to the lunar water.
Could they just use like fish and like rats and stuff to do it?
But the government covered up everything.
Like a lot of rats and fishes in the world, and like just use them to create a lot of water.
Hide the existence of lunar water. As a way to compensate for lying to her, Han agrees to let her access the
Interesting.
data storage of the station. There, they come across huge amounts of data. Suddenly, a green leaf emerging from the ground catches their attention. When they remove what seems like a lid, they discover the basement covered by green plants, much to their surprise. To see what happens next, watch the second part in Series Recapped.
Oh, there's a second part. Oh, dude, this is good as fuck, man. This is amazing. Hells yeah. We're gonna watch the second part too. I really, really like this. Like South Koreans are the best filmmakers and the best, like, dude, remember Squid Game? Absolutely beautiful. Can't wait for the season 2. I hope you liked my reaction. If you did, click the like button. And also, make sure to check out my Twitch channel, Anime Otaku Master, where I stream a lot of fucking crazy ass shit. See you next time.